Hey folks, Tracy here. I would like to take a minute to welcome any potential new viewers to my channel. I've had this channel for a while, but it has changed names a lot. It's not exactly growing. I have a handful of loyal people that might watch my videos, and it's time probably to make some changes. So I may actually close this down and just start a new one. And that'll happen when I'm done with this project I've been working on for, well, the better part of the last couple of years, when I had a chance in between a lot of caregiving of several abandoned cats and my mom who has dementia. And that project has been to republish books that I actually originally wrote over 10 years ago. And my final project is republishing this, at least in ebook form, because this one has photos. My very first book I wrote in 2014. All of them written while we were plant-based, after having a almost miraculous healing of an excruciatingly bad fibrocystic breast tenderness, in which after a year of being paleo, and years before that of being told to eat more protein, I had developed a bad case of fatty, enlarged breasts and very uneven size. So it wasn't even that it was fibrocystic and tender and excruciatingly tender, but there were clear visible changes that were problematic. And that is the time back in 2011 that Don and I went fully whole food plant-based. He had his own prostate symptoms and history of prostate cancer, and much of it is actually written about in our various books, and including my updated preface here. I wanted to take a moment and read some of this updated preface for those of you who may not have purchased this book yet, and just share some insights. But first, I just want to say a few things that I don't really share, because this channel has been mostly about fitness and food. I'm a very highly sensitive person, and many of you may know that. I've written about this on my website. I have an article about what it means to be a highly sensitive person, and I'll link to it below and you can check it out. Some people might consider themselves to be empaths. Those can be maybe the same or overlap or two different things, and I would say I'm definitely square in the category of both. And oftentimes I'll just take in things. Like, I just recently actually went to see the Sheep Detective movie, which is super cute, and it's a great animal lover movie to go see. And as I was leaving the theater, I was drawn in because practically every other theater was playing Michael Jackson music. Several, showing the Michael movie at different times. And I couldn't help myself. This was early in the day. The theater was mostly empty, but I just started to go from theater to theater until I finally pieced together the entire Michael movie as well. So don't tell the theater I did that. But regardless of what critics may say about things, as an empath or highly sensitive person, one of the hallmark things is that we take things in at a very deep level. Sometimes I can just kind of almost feel like I catapult out of my body and have some kind of strange experience where I just take time to process everything coming in. With respect to Michael, I was really taken because I didn't realize how much I would connect to it. But when I was young, I actually used to stand in front of this huge life-size mirror and sing the song Ben or I'll Be There, just, by myself. But I felt so much sadness when I would sing it. And it was a sadness I carried my whole life without really understanding why. But like Michael too, I actually felt like the trees and the animals were more my friends. That's where I felt the most safe and comfortable to be myself in nature, and I literally would hug trees or bury special rocks near the trees and talk to them, as well as the animals. So I guess just I look at things in a very kind of deep level. I just like find it very interesting to get into the psyche of people and what they were going through. And I certainly did not live any kind of life like Michael at all, but I could appreciate his creative genius, the God spirit just really wanting to flow through him unobstructed, and the fight that he had to do, you know, the courage that he had to take to break free from the chains that were kind of put around him by his family. I mean, really his father. And the sheep detective, likewise, like the emotions that they put on these animals, but in a very, you know, enduring kind of way, relatable. Like, I just cannot help but see myself in every being. And that's what I want to talk about, and why I want to read a little bit of this. Because regardless of the nutritional arguments for or against being vegan, something that I was told a long time ago before I was ready to hear it has made sense to me now more than ever. And I do kind of weave it into what I write. And that is that while I may be very versed in a lot of what various New Age spiritual beliefs teach, or you know, that animals, some people believe that animals know that they come here to endure the hardships that they're here to endure because they're here to sacrifice themselves for humans and whatnot. The fact is that I cannot participate in that any longer. And considering that Don and I were vegan already for 5 years, from 2011 to 2016, like late 2016, early 2017, and then went back to eating animal foods, and viciously so, you know, like very low carb. I was eating raw liver and drinking raw eggs in front of a camera, like just some arrogant person trying to rationalize, or really some fake ego part took over and created a persona of being tough and feeling more real. And I even did a video about saying I felt more spiritual eating animals, because it was like the story I was telling myself that I was willing to have the chutzpah to hunt or kill if I needed to survive. But never have I had that kind of instinct in my life. So I don't know who I was kidding. Obviously, most of all myself. And that was very painful. And so, again, regardless of arguments about whether or not to eat a vegan diet based on nutritional studies or evidence, the fact is there's more going on than what meets the eye. And even though we live in a very materialistic culture that largely just still subscribes to these notions that we just evolved randomly, like the absolute genius and perfection of how our bodies operate just evolved randomly. And it all began with some big bang thing. There's a big old spider coming up on our deck. Cool. It's coming towards me. Anyway, it seems a bit kooky to disregard everything that we can't see as if it's less real or it's not even real at all at this day and age. And the fact is, when we are eating animals, we are injecting the energy. We are consuming, ingesting the energy of their pain and suffering. They go through enormous stress. And when you see a mama cow crying and fighting for her baby calf to not be taken away from her immediately after birth so that we can have their milk, some other species can have their milk. I mean, I can't help but put myself in the mama cow's position, and I've not even been an actual biological mother. Can you imagine someone coming and taking your baby away right after birth so that they can milk you and sell your milk to some other family or species? It's like kind of kooky. the stress that they go through at slaughter, the antibiotics and hormones that are circulating in their system at slaughter and just leading up to it, the enormity of their suffering we're taking in when we eat flesh and drink milk or take products that are from animals that were the result of theft and abuse. It's like hard for me not to connect the dots and see that this is like among the main root causes of all of these crazy upside down world evil or just bad things we're seeing in the world, including a lot of the stuff happening to our own real children. So actually, of course, I've already rambled on for almost 11 minutes. So I think I'll just, that was a good catch. I'm going to read part of this introduction, but I'm going to make it a whole other video. But I just want to say that what it comes down to in the end is that does it really matter what the evidence says? You either are aware that you're contributing to this type of blood ritual sacrifice and slavery, and you can see how what we allow as a collective human race to be done to a whole nother huge groups of species of animals that are used and abused for commodification in so many ways, whether for fur, for food, for entertainment, for horrific scientific studies and research that are done very inhumanely, then honestly, it's like, how can we not think that we deserve everything that's happening around us? Like, we're the ones that are at fault. We're allowing it because we're participating in it. We're modeling the behavior that's happening. Like, everything is connected, and everything is like as above, so below. Like, what is within is without. What we see reflected out here is just a reflection of what's going on within each of us. And I'm the first to raise my hand and say, man, I've just been an absolute jerk, arrogant, blank, for how I've been in the past, for how I've treated directly or indirectly other species and done things for my own selfish gain and to help rationalize my own selfish needs, however diluted. That said, I understand why this stuff goes on. I have a lot of compassion for it, for us, for myself, for all of us. And I write that, I hope I do a good job trying to explain that in my book, and especially in my updated preface. So stay tuned. Part 2 is next.